Well, it's official, Diablo 2 Resurrected is finally coming, and in this video we're going to go over all the details of what you can expect with this resurrected version of the game. If you've been too busy to catch BlizzCon this past weekend with all the announcements and details, or you just want to watch a more consolidated video, then watch on to find out exactly what's going to happen. The first thing I want to say about Diablo 2 Resurrected is that it's more than a remaster. The game is running on a completely new engine. It looks completely different. They basically took a game that was running with 2D models and made it in 3D, so the game's going to look markedly better. This doesn't only apply to the animation and textures as well of the game, it also applies to every single weapon, every single armor, gem, charm, etc. All of these items have been remastered not only in the game but also in your inventory, so you're going to see those changes across the entire game. Another thing to note is that even though the old game played at 25 FPS and that the animations and everything were based on 25 FPS, the new versions of the game will have much higher frame rates, so you can expect those frame rates, and supposedly the timing in the game is supposed to remain the same. So it should feel like the old game, but it should look more like a modern RPG. Another thing you'll notice when looking over the game is the reimagined UI. The UI is going to look very different. Obviously, you're still going to have your mana and health globes on the sides, and that'll look familiar in your skills, etc. But it's going to have a reimagined UI. It's going to look a bit different, and you're also going to see advanced stats. You're going to see things like attack speed, cast speed, life on hit, things that you might see in Diablo 3 in your stat screen. You're now going to see those in Diablo 2 as well. When it comes to audio, the audio is also getting some love. The music is supposedly going to remain untouched, thank God, because the music is fantastic. But there is going to be some improvements to the actual sounds of the game. That's not to say the sounds of the game are going to be replaced, or like enhanced. For instance, you're going to have a variety of footsteps when you're moving around, or things may sound a little different in the rain when it's raining outside. And places like the jungle and the jungle act are going to have more noises ambiently to make it feel more like a jungle. So those familiar sounds that are there when you hear an item drop or when you put a skull into your inventory, etc., are still going to be the same. But there's just going to be a little bit more sound and a variety of sounds that will make the ambiance of the game feel a little bit better. Another really cool thing that's happening with Diablo 2 Resurrected is that it's finally making it to console. The original version of the game was a PC-only title, but now you're going to be able to play the game on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, as well as Nintendo Switch. So that's a lot of consoles. Unfortunately, Xbox One did not make it onto that list, so those people who are playing on Xbox One won't be able to play. All those people will get to enjoy the world of Diablo. And something to add to that is that the game will also feature cross-progression, meaning that if you play, for instance, on PC, you can pick that up on console, or maybe on console you can play on PC and, pick up the same character progression that you had. I don't know if it's going to work between consoles. I highly doubt that. I don't know if you'll be able to play on PS4 and then play on Xbox Series X with the same characters or not. But I imagine this will be mostly between console and PC, if I had to guess. There isn't a ton of information about that right now. So as soon as I have that information, I'll post that in the description of the video. Obviously, making the game work on console had to be, some redesigns had to be done for the console version of the game. And actually, the PC version as well is going to have controller support, so that's good. And you're going to move your character around much like Diablo 3 using the sticks for controls instead of pointing and clicking, which is fantastic. If you've played Diablo 3 on console at all, it plays very well. But another thing that's really interesting that they had to redesign on console is things like the teleport skill from the sorceress or the leap from the barbarian. Usually you click the distance you want these to do. You don't do this on console. On console or with controller, it's just going to go a default distance, so you can learn the distance these things work. Obviously, that's a compromise that had to be made in order to make this work on controller, so that's how those things are going to be handled. Another really good feature, and I imagine this was added specifically because of controller support and the game coming to console, is auto gold pickup. This is an opt-in feature, so it's not something that's on by default, although it may be on console, but on PC you have to opt into it, and you could just walk over gold and pick it up. This is a huge quality of life improvement for those who don't want to click every single gold item, and obviously because it's opt-in, those who want to maintain doing this can still do it if they wish. Another quality of life improvement coming to the game is a shared stash. This is probably huge for those diehard players out there that have tons of alts, because it's going to allow you to transfer items between characters more easily instead of having to mule them, which can be a pain in the ass. Another quality of life improvement that is also coming with the game is Tooltips. This is going to allow you to compare your items that you have equipped to what you have in your inventory. Unlike Diablo 3, though, it's not going to say, this is better or this is worse with some green or red arrows. You're going to have to make that distinction for yourself, but it will allow you to see and compare items, which I think is a huge improvement because who doesn't want to be able to look at things more easily? Talking a bit about multiplayer, the game's going to feature global servers now, so you're no longer going to have like US East and US West, and if you're on the East Coast, you can't play with people on the West Coast unless one of you has bad ping, etc. Now you're going to have global servers, everyone's going to play together. You're going to be able to have duplicate names, but they're going to use your ID or your gamer tag or battle tag, etc. to separate you from the other player with the same name. But you're going to be able to play with everyone all over the world. One thing I'm really pleased to announce as well is that the game does not require a persistent online connection. You only need to be online once to activate your code for the game, and then you can play completely offline. Obviously, Diablo 3 did not allow you to do this. Diablo 4 is not going to allow you to do this. So this is really good for those players who have a problem with that or play in, an area where internet is not particularly good for them or an option. You're still going to be able to play offline. Another thing to mention is that the latter seasons are going to be shortened. Instead of 6 months, which they are currently, they're going to be reduced. I don't know exactly what the number on this is. I guess maybe it would be 3 months in order to do 4 a year, but I'm not entirely certain. Another thing I want to mention as well is that Diablo 2 Resurrected will come with the expansion Lord of Destruction as well, and that you can create characters that are classic or expansion characters still if you want, but you'll be able to play the expansion with the Resurrected version. And the last thing to mention is that there is a technical alpha coming soon. You can sign up for this on the official site if you want to get into that technical alpha. I don't know how they're doing the selection process. I don't know if it's pure RNG or whatever, but if you want a chance to do that, you can sign up for it on their official site and hopefully get into that alpha and get to play a little bit early and give your feedback about it. Overall, everything I've seen so far about Diablo 2 Resurrected has me excited. This is one of my all-time favorite action RPGs from when I was a kid, and I just can't wait to play it again. We've been doing a fresh playthrough over on Twitch of the original game just out of pure excitement. Try and familiarize myself with the game again because it's been so long since I played, probably about 10 years. And you can expect more content from Diablo 2 Resurrected on the channel. I'm obviously going to be doing builds and stuff at launch of the game, so if you guys want to see Diablo 2 content, then be prepared for that because it's going to be a lot. At present, no release date has been officially announced for the game. However, it is said that the game is going to launch sometime in 2021, so this year, and it even says when you pre-order on the website that they are basically guaranteeing that it'll come out sometime this year. So I don't know exactly what time this year it's going to come out or what date, but if I had to guess, I'd say sometime late summer at the earliest. Could be later than that, but I don't think it'll be any earlier than that. Until next time, stay tuned for more Diablo 2 Resurrected content, and be sure to check out our Diablo 2 Resurrected wiki.